It's crazy.
All right, we're live.
All right, very good, thanks. The time is 6:31, and with us tonight is Craig Schulte, Ben Peters, Bill Lovis, myself, Michael Gary, Patrick Knight, Mike Roth, Kim Van Beck, and attorney Chris Hood. Anyone else? No, nothing online. Okay. All right, very good. Open forum. Unless you're buried under a chair, there is nobody here at all.
It's probably
Right,
the weather.
and then-
It's the weather, I'm sure.
It's just starting to snow. I saw everybody standing at their driveways with their snow shovels when I came down.
Ready?
They're waiting, prepared.
It's like it's sleeting out there. Like
It's starting to,
you can
yeah.
hear it.
Quite cold enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some rain first, I think.
Okay. All right. So then, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Anyone like to make a motion on the consent agenda? Oh, and you had some additional bills that we needed to add, correct?
They're
Yep.
in the packet there.
That
Oh,
now
they're
they're
in
in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in the packet.
All right. So now they're included, so they don't need to be added. Special. All right.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor of the consent agenda? Aye. All right, very good. Moving on to the Planning Commission Resolution 2025-13, we asked for some clarifications to be added to that.
Yeah.
So how did we do on that?
They were added from what I can see.
There's a new whereas that talks about the intended use of the structure by the tenant, North Shore Fisheries, so that was a detail that wasn't included in the original resolution. Then some of the findings are changed a little bit. We talk about in finding number 1, the water dependent of the use, which is something that is in our zoning, given a little bit special treatment, so that's trying to answer the question of why this instead of something else in that site where we haven't said yes. And then finally, subject to the condition that the structure be removed if North Shore Fisheries is no longer operating on site. Which North House has already said they're more than happy to have as a condition.
Great. And it makes sense.
Okay. Is that everything then? All right. Anyone like to motion on Resolution 2025-13, North House variance?
So moved.
Second.
Any further questions or discussions or concerns from anyone? No? All right, all in approval of Resolution 2025-13? Aye.
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 All right, and motion carries with that. And it looks like we're a little out of order,
Yeah.
Seems like the backhoe memo got stuck in the wrong spot.
but I found
So-
it.
Scroll back up, yep, to page 22 of the packet.
Okay, and this is what Lenny spoke out with us already, right? They
Yep.
found the
Yep.
thing.
He gave
They
you
found it.
the details, I believe, at the budget session we had with him last meeting, so this is the official may we please purchase.
Does anyone have any questions, comments?
I would,
How many hours do we have on hours now? Is it?
We don't know.
Oh, okay, okay,
The hour meter hasn't been functioning for a long time,
okay.
how old is it, or how long have we had it? I mean,
since
it's been-
2003.
Yeah.
22 years, it says.
And we use it a lot, but it's not, we're not like an equipment construction yard where it's running 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's not like that, so it's not, it wouldn't be the super high hours you'd expect on a machine that's 20-some years old, but still, it's getting worn out.
Yeah.
So one of the warranties was highlighted on here. Is that something that you guys had considered and opted out of, or?
It's included in the request, so that it's with the extended warranty. Lenny actually is not 100% sure he wants to go with it yet, but he's leaning towards it, so we thought we better just ask for it.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone like to make a motion for the purchase of the Caterpillar 450 backhoe with extended warranty?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, any further questions or? All right, all in favor for the purchase of the Caterpillar 450 backhoe with extended warranty? Aye.
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 All right, very good, thank you. That leads us to the budget update, Mike.
There's a lot of information included in the packet, and I just want to highlight, as I mentioned in the memo, that we don't need to go into great detail about this tonight. We will at your next meeting, but I just wanted to provide you with an update of where we're at. Maybe it's prompted some questions already. Maybe it will help you think about things you want to ask or prompt questions for your next meeting. I'll give you a few highlights. The current proposed levy is 2.99% increase. How did we get there? You can see the expense, the changes in expense. Mostly there's a slight decrease in all the departments, and most of that is due to the change from a 10% increase in medical insurance to no increase in medical insurance. And then that's made up for by an addition of 15,000 back into special projects, council priorities line item that had been zeroed out. And then the other big change is that there's an additional revenue added to the debt levy of 113,000, which is coming from the utilities departments to pay their share of the city hall debt, and removal of a placeholder from the clerk's revenue department of 85,000 that was sitting there waiting for us to decide how we wanted to handle the utilities or liquor store or other ways to pay for that debt. So that 85,000 didn't mean anything. It was just a placeholder. It's gone. In its place is a real number that we can justify and explain and will be included in the utilities budgets to pay for their share of the debt. That's where we get to. And then there's a multi-year analysis that we've been doing for a while now that just shows you, okay, this is what 2026 budget's currently looking like, but also planning ahead for 2027 and 2028. You can see the 2028 year there is about 4.25% increase planned for, and that's mainly due to this line item called new project debt. If we do a street reconstruction, which is our likely next project, I would expect that debt to start getting paid in the 2028 budget, and we would expect there to be a share of that coming out of the property tax levy to pay for a portion of the street reconstruction. So, more details will be provided at the next meeting when we have our Truth in Taxation public hearing, and you'll have a chance, if you want to tonight, to ask any questions, or if you want to at the next meeting as well.
You guys wanna read for a
I
little
don't
bit
have any
longer,
questions
or
right now.
take a
Thank
look
you.
at anything? Discuss anything on this?
That's pretty good.
So at the next meeting, we'll talk in more detail about where some of the revenue numbers are coming from, particularly like park and liquor revenues, and what our performance looked like this year, why we think those assumptions are either a little conservative or safe, but that we'll just go into a little more detail about that. And then we'll just talk about the levy increase and the history of it and the effective tax rate history as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right, 6:41. We are then on to council and staff staff reports. Craig?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Meetings out of that.
Ben?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah, Arrowhead Animal Rescue, they had their meeting last Thursday. They remain very concerned and a little frustrated by the lack of forward progress on their project. And they want to know what portion of it the city is planning to help them with, I guess.
Okay.
And I think Mike is pulling that together pretty well.
You got an update. We talked about it this
Did
morning,
you?
so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll give
So,
a couple
but he's
minute
got-
update too, and do it now if you'd like.
Yeah, maybe on the topic, let's just stay with it.
So I have had a chance to visit with all the contractors who've been involved in the project and just be reassured about where we are currently at with what's been done. And I think I indicated this last time that the work that's been done is good and we're gonna be able to use. But I got a lot more details about the steps that are gonna need to take place before the building is fully set. And gonna be getting some quotes from Rick Crawford for sure, potentially other contractors to get that work done. And so my intention is to have, and this is sort of what the Arrowhead Animal Rescue Board's already done, but we're gonna have numbers that we feel good about too. A clear plan for here are the things that need to get done for this building to be completed, at least on the outside set, and a budget for that. And then we can go back and have that conversation about how's it gonna get paid for.
Yeah, we're just moving through the steps we said we would do once it looked like this was
Yeah.
not going well. But it was really nice you got to talk to Rick Crawford.
Yeah.
So you really know exactly where things are at.
And since we're in winter now, we're not planning on doing any more dirt work. We're aiming for first thing in the spring to get back in there and finish it up, which means that Rick could potentially be available to come back and work on it some more, that'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have the person who did a lot of that continue it and not have to start with someone else, not really
Yeah.
in the full picture. I need some efficiency in the rest of the way this is completed. So hopefully that's the track we're on. Sounds like it, I mean, you getting all the right information is important. So, that'd be good. Okay, anything else?
I don't.
All right.
Yeah, we had a library meeting. We continued talking about the strategic plan for the next year. We just continued the conversation. We're gonna talk again coming up. We had cameras in the library that were actually just like household cameras that are not functioning too well. So we decided to upgrade, and we hired Sundu to put in those cameras and manage them for us. So we approved that at our last meeting. And they're pretty well hired up. We're still looking for a part-time librarian, but it sounded like the rest were
Oh.
in place, so that's
Oh,
great.
okay. So there is still one outstanding, because we just approved one, was it last meeting,
Yeah,
when they're hired? Yeah.
yep.
Okay, cool. We had our community leadership meeting here on the 13th, Thursday 13th, and you guys are always welcome and to attend. We had fairly good turnout this coming year. They want their bi-monthly, they want them all in person. So there was no online option. They want to actually get together, have real conversations, even before and after meetings, and just
Okay.
do things that way. And it was a very good meeting. We had a really good little, we had some questions and we small grouped it and kind of went through some things. So that went well. And I think they asked what kinds of things do we want to focus on. It's the prevailing theme, of course, is still just hearing updates from the different organizations, but I think they also want to know if there's certain key items to focus on or not. What do the people think, whatever.
Yeah.
So we did that. We had another North Shore and final North Shore Management Board work session earlier that day. And I have a copy of it now, and Chris will get busy. We have the final draft of the new plan. And I'm assuming it wasn't like scrapped, but it was updated and edited. And we got a lot of good input from Grand Portage because they're kind of leaps and bounds above us. I mean, in general, around the shore of how they do a lot of their work. So that goes to everyone's council on the board. Hi, Chris. For review, and then everyone comes back on the board and nay, whatever. So I've got to get that over. And then we need to take a look too. I asked Neva Maxwell what would be the best way for the city to proceed to see how that works within our stuff. And she gave me some contact information and way to proceed on that. So that was helpful.
Okay.
And now I discovered it will not be her. We had an EDA meeting, and golf course is still moving along. They discovered some septic issues. So there's going to have to so there's going to have to be a little bit of pricing and, pieces and issues with that. So they were a little bit more of a delay, but it didn't seem to be a, hard, fast no or anything like that. So I think that's all fine. And in the December 15th, we finalized and have all the ins and outs for posting the executive director's position, so that will get posted, and we've calendared to start having interviews then at early February. Close the end of January. And I'm trying to think of anything else out of that meeting. And the Taconite Harbor Committee has now had 2 meetings, and they're moving along. And did the ribbon cutting for the Y, and did the ribbon cutting for the Heights. And last week, the Secretary of State was here for an hour, and we got his spiel, which was very good. He goes to all the counties and talks about elections in general, and then just his other role within businesses. And then just asked about our community, and guess what? He loves this place, and he's been here a lot, and we've never heard that before. So it was very nice.
Surprising.
Yes, and his staff was there with them, and it was a nice, and it was a good mix of people too, of the community that came. So that was all very good. Then Mike and I asked Mike all year, like, where are we with Duval? What have you heard from him on that project? Where are we with Joel? Where have you heard on that project? And so we've been talking a little bit more recently because the larger community has a lot of questions about Joel's project and where it's at and where it's not at. And then, of course, I think as a council, we're always concerned of where Duval is at. And he did say at the end of the year, at this 4th quarter, he would be ready to get back with us. So I've asked Mike, I don't know where you're at with that, but I asked him to create, or Patrick, whoever, to create a communication that would be coming from all of us in the council, if you think this is okay. Just a great Joel, where are we at? Community would love to know, how's it going? Just let him know we're caring and concerned and interest in this. It's been a while, and now it's a big empty space, and he does lease it out for a few little businesses to utilize. That's very nice. And it'll be a lot of planning to be able to be building in that space during prime business season. And a lot of businesses get concerned even over a few festivals and events. And it'll be one thing when that whole space is to be built upon and you've got equipment and stuff. So there's a lot of logistics to be thought through. So it's time to, I believe, as a council, communicate to him a little bit about that. Not that Mike and he don't have, and you did have a conversation with him. And then Deval as well, that we look forward now that the year is almost complete. I'd love to have an update and see where he stands on that, because we have other interests and potential of that property too. You know, if it isn't gonna work as he's thought. And then finally, I think, I don't know, we did talk about this right before the county's road project potentially on
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin and Broadway. Like, where is that coming from? So I've also asked that as a council, we would send a note out to the county engineer and the county administrator, letting him know that, you know, we need an update, we need to be part of this process. And whatever it is, but to find out that way at a back door in a county meeting, it does not feel really good to know action has been taken. And I try really hard all the time publicly to say that we are a city and a county and we work together, because we are really integrated.
Yep.
There shouldn't be a lot of separation. Most of county functions actually are in this city, and we can't be separated and be effective. So I think it's important that as a group we communicate that we'd like to, should be part of this process. So I don't know how that landed for you, Mike, but between the two of you and your workload, but I'd like to get that rolling, if that all sounds good to you guys, that we
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
get something.
Can we
on
start
that.
with Duval?
Sure.
So, a couple of details that are worth refreshing. He provided a proposed schedule in May when he gave his report to you, and it actually said at Q3 that he was gonna be done with the site acquisition, and in Q4, he was gonna have his financing secured. That's what the schedule had said, but the conversation was also kind of, I'm gonna have to wait and see a little bit what happens with these other projects. So, my suggestion is we just tell him we're looking forward to an update, and there's 3 specific things I thought you might wanna know. Has he made any design modifications? How's he progressing with his development agreement with the HRA, which is really the acquisition concept? And where is he at with securing financing, which helps us understand what the timeline's looking like now.
Yeah.
And I think these are things you're interested in hearing about. I don't know if you're interested in having him present, or if you just need a written update, which I think is probably more than adequate.
Yep, however he wants to proceed, but I think he, I told Mike, you know, if you don't speak up and someone's busy, then you can just be set aside, and the person who speaks up and calls your attention to something is the one you're gonna respond to. And there's a lot of things he can either be working, I know he has other projects. When I spoke with Jeff Brand, he told me some of the other projects around the state he's been working on, they're housing related. But if we're not on his radar again, with some care and concern, it's easy to drop off. And he did actually ask for more additional funding from the state's housing finance, and Jeff didn't mention that when he came the other week, but he did mention it to me, so I don't know if it didn't go anywhere or what, but so I think it's time. All right, moving on. The other 2, did you have?
Joel, he's indicated to me this week that he's looking at finishing up his financing in January and would love to sit down right afterwards and talk about logistics. I understand why it would make sense for him to wait until he's sure that it's gonna happen before spending the time. But I have suggested to him that maybe we just schedule a meeting in December instead, early December, to talk about that kind of planning detail, which I think would go a long way towards involving the neighborhood in the conversation. You know, we don't need public meetings to talk about logistics, but I think sharing some details about how some of this might actually occur and when would be pretty helpful. And I think would give people that information. So I don't know if you want to say more to him, other than, like, we could just reiterate that same kind of conversation from you as a council as well. There's
Yeah.
probably nothing else you need to say about that.
Well, and, you know, we do represent the larger community and they're asking. And
Yeah.
he needs to be aware of that.
Yep.
So with the county, I think if you're gonna communicate as a board, it's probably best if you communicate with their board. Right now, I'm already talking to Kristen about this project. You know, I mentioned to her at the day of their meeting when it came up that we should probably talk about it, and that she's gonna have Robbie come to our next meeting and we'll try to get into some details. But it's clearly a process that's not functioning the way that we want it to, so I'm not sure if what else you wanna say, but maybe rather than send that to the board now, give me another couple of weeks and wait and see what we come up with at a staff level, and then express where you're at with the county board. Otherwise, I think maybe just Tracy could reach out to the chair and talk directly to them. Be my recommendation.
What do you guys wanna do? What do you think about communicating? This is a big topic, I think. It would be a really big project. And I don't want it to move along until we get it set on a good,
I mean, we do have all those other meetings that have kind of sat there for a bit, the county that we haven't gotten back to. This could be, I mean, I guess it's all communication with them. But I think it makes sense to make a direct, reach out to them and see. And when you said chair, who is the chair right now? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know either.
Ginny.
Is Ginny?
Oh, is it
Janitor chair, yeah.
Ginny's the chair this year.
So I don't really know what they know about the projects either, or
Right.
where they're at in the planning process, or how much they've been included, or how they feel about it. We don't know any of that.
That's the thing that makes me a little nervous. I mean, to have let something gone to this, too far to have it on a list with whatever, and your commissioners haven't really led this at all or talked about it, doesn't feel really good either, to me.
Is there a timeline on this? Anybody know?
I mean, I don't think we know anything. For sure, at some point in the process, they'll need to come to a meeting and just talk to you about the project idea, if it's going to be a project idea, so that you can get some questions answered.
If I understood him correctly, the end of the trail is the priority, which they wouldn't be looking until 2028. This grant and lobbying opportunities, it was a fast decision. And Marais would be after the end of the trail part.
Did they secure the funds or they just attempted?
This is the hiring a lobbyist to do
Okay.
that, go secure the funds. So they haven't even attempted yet.
But, that's where these projects are, though. You don't think about them and do them 6 months from now. You have to plan now to have them that far out. So we can't, it's not like we have time to sit in the part of the conversation. Or if it gets too far, the engine gets too far revved and gets going and we aren't part of it, that's not a good thing. So. Is Robbie confirmed for the next meeting? Is that what you said?
For my next meeting with Kristen, yes.
Okay, but not.
But
the
it's
next.
not scheduled yet, so I'd expect it to be in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, we need to do some communication to the board. Okay.
So are you gonna reach out to Ginny, is that?
I'd prefer that we had something from all of us. I mean,
Oh,
again,
sure.
but,
That's fine.
I don't, I really wouldn't mind something in writing that she can read at a meeting
Yeah, we
from
can
all
do
of
that.
us.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
like that better, I think.
talked enough about it tonight for me to put something together for you to look at.
Great.
See what she knows, anyway.
All right, I'm done.
Excellent.
Anything else? Oh, sorry, you got to just talk about the one thing.
That's the most of the things I had. Let's
Oh, I
see.
do have one more.
One other piece of news. Today, received communication from this person that's doing the Phase 1 environmental study on the Coast Guard station, starting to ask questions. So
Okay.
that's a good sign. It's a Phase 1, which means they're just asking questions. They're not planning on doing any testing on it, but I'm sure they'll come up with some things that require some further investigation. We'll try to prompt them towards those things that we imagine would need some further investigation. So that's good. Otherwise, I just want to say I am thankful for local government in general. I think this is where government functions at its best. I appreciate that there are people that are willing to spend some time out of their busy lives to serve. That's what you're doing, so thank you for doing that. And hope you have a good, happy Thanksgiving holiday.
There is one thing. We had a nice note from Rovina, and our annual review process is in full gear, and it has a time schedule, and it's a trickle down. And the first thing we found out was that council members need to get the review work done and in. And you are all calendared for, oh my God, is it already next? Oh, yeah, December. We'll be here next Thursday evening. But Rovina does not want to spend all of her weekend back smushed on this. So if your stuff is not in, please get it in like ASAP. And were you able to get to the rest of it? There were still a few employee not related to down in there. I don't remember who it was. A few departments or whatever needed some feedback.
There's still a few that will finish up by tomorrow.
Okay.
That's not something that Ravina necessarily has to do at the same speed.
Right.
So it's yours that was the first on the list.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
most important as we stay on schedule. And, okay, very good. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Chris.
Good night,
Thanks,
Chris.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too.